Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the opportunity and thank you for having me today. So essentially, I'm going to talk about how to be your own product, right? In the world of product management, people just talk about, how to build the products from scratch, how this product is going to solve this and this and this. And oftentimes we forget that the most important product is ourselves. So I'm just going to talk about applying product management to your career and to your personal growth. And before I do that, my name is Inimfon Bassey. I have a background in accounting and finance, and I am a product manager as well. It's something that I transitioned into not too long ago, so I'm a bit fairly new to this space. But I decided to choose this topic, like I said, because a lot of people choose to focus on chasing other products and then they actually forget about being intentional about themselves as a product. So when companies create a product, they plan it, they develop it, they market it, they improve it, and they measure its success, right? So now imagine doing that for yourself, building your skills, building your reputation, building your career path, and treating all of that like a product that you are responsible for managing. And the thing is that once you see yourself as a product, you start moving with intention rather than just moving, at random. You start actually treating yourself with intention and actually start building on yourself. Things will you not just wait for things to start happening to you, but rather you start to guide your growth, more like a product manager guides the growth of a product and how that product wants to solve a certain problem. You start to guide your own growth and all of that. So that is essentially what this session is going to be about. And I know it's not so much of a technical session as maybe people would have expected and all of that. It's a very simple session, but I believe it's one that is very, very important as individuals, trying to build things for ourselves is one that is very important. In as much as some people may already know, I need to build, I need to get skills and stuff like that. I would say that it's more of a reminder because most times you're so focused on other things, like I said, and you actually forget about yourself. So this is more like a refresher on how to move with intention. Ask yourself, so what if you were a product and you have to see yourself from the lens of a product manager? So this is going to be a very simple, practical, relatable topic, right? So because I don't know how many people are here, but I would have started with a very simple icebreaker. So say if you were a product, what would your tagline be? If you just think about it, products like to summarize themselves in, a catchy line. Like Apple says, think different. Nike, just do it. Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop, stuff like that. So if you were a product, what would your tagline be? Would it be something like reliable, growing, consistent? Would it be something like always improving? Would it be something like, figuring it out gracefully? Stuff like that. And I do believe that as individuals, we actually need a tagline because if you're somebody that is out there and you say you want to provide a service or you have a skill that you want to show to people, you need to have a tagline, even if you don't say it out, but in your head, what's that statement that it's your motto or your mantra or something that actually motivates you, right? So before I go into the whole topic proper, what is product management? Very simply, it's essentially guiding a product from idea to launch to continuous improvement, right? Product managers, they're essentially responsible for identifying problems, creating solutions, working with different teams, understanding customer needs, improving those products based on feedback, and essentially driving long-term success of a particular product. So now if you think about it deeply, is this not something that we all do in our lives? We identify our weaknesses, we try to improve our skills, we make decisions, we learn from feedback, and we evolve, right? So that is how you see yourself as a product, and you see yourself as a product manager working on yourself as your most important product. So next thing we're going to talk on, right, is what if you were the product? Every product has, different things that make it a great product. It has the features, it has a market, it has a roadmap, it has a brand. Before you even make a product, you have to first think about who is this product going to serve. That's the market. You have to think about what kind of product is it that I want to make? How would my product stand out? Those are your features. You have to think about what are the goals for this product? Do I expect my product to be in the market for the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? How would I make this brand, this product's very relevant? That is your branding and all of that. And so just like a product, you as an individual, your features are your skills. What do you bring to the table? What is your unique selling point as a product? Your market, what is your industry? In terms of career, what kind of roles do you want? What kind of, career path do you want to build for yourself? In terms of roadmap, what are your goals? Do you intend to be relevant for the next 5, 10, 15 years? Do you want to retire in 15 years time or whatever? What are your goals? And as a brand, what is your reputation? How do you want people to experience you? Do you want someone to just taste you once, taste your skills once, and that's it? Or do you want someone that would, taste you once and be like, this is a very good product. Or, the skills that this person is presenting is, very, very relevant to what I need. So I'm going to keep coming back. What exactly is your brand? What is your reputation? So that is how you look at yourself as a product. And when you start thinking in this way, right, you begin to take ownership of your growth rather than just always chasing. You're in one place, You need to actually start focusing on yourself, taking ownership of your growth, thinking through all of these things. Like I said, almost like it's a product. Think of yourself as a product and think of what features, what skills, what do you need to actually brand yourself to stand out. And so instead of waiting for opportunities, right, you essentially design your own path. So that's how you see yourself as a product. And now, just moving on. Yes. So for instance, for me, like I said, I have a background in accounting and finance. And so realizing that every product has a life cycle, version 1.0, version 2, version 3, and so on, just like Apple. That's exactly how careers work. Apple started from iPhone 1, iPhone 2, 3, 4. I don't know how many other iPhones they've had in the past, right? But 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. If you leave it to Apple, they would keep growing 18, 19, 20. And it's just little things they'll be changing. Maybe they'll just, put the camera on the bottom or maybe put the camera on the side or something. But Apple is always, always, always evolving with something new. It could be something very minute, something very, insignificant, but there's always a new iPhone. And the funny thing is that people would always, always patronize Apple because they have been able to build a brand reputation for themselves. And so if we begin to look at ourselves that way, from version 1, how do you begin? For me, for instance, right, I started out, my early career in finance and accounting, doing internships, entry-level roles. Those were the years of basic learning, trying to understand the structure of accounting, mastering Excel, doing all them VLOOKUPs, all of those things. So my version 2.0, becoming more confident, moving into more responsibilities like financial reporting, accounts payables, budgeting, compliance, actual real hands-on finance things. And version 3.0, transitioning into more strategic financial positions, business partnering, more collaboration, more communication with external stakeholders, stuff like that. And, actually going on to learn, get a degree in fintech just to make sure that I am evolving at every step of my career. And so if you begin to see ourselves in that way, seeing yourself not just as, in my case, a finance person, but somebody who can solve broader problems, then you begin to treat yourself with intention. So if we look at ourselves by version, just like Apple does, at each step, version 1, okay, let's put 1 camera. Oh no, let's change it to 2. Oh, let's change it to 3 cameras. Oh, we can do 4 cameras. Oh, you know what? We can improve the quality of all of the cameras, but then just let's take it back to 1 camera, stuff like that. If you begin to look at yourself in that way, you see that you're upgrading yourself, you're stepping up, even in your career, you're stepping up your personal life and all of those things. And so it really helps when you do see yourself as a product in that way. And so when you do, realize that, okay, wow, as a product, I need to, improve my versions and everything like that, right? You now start to think of your value your value proposition, and essentially positioning yourself, right? So just like in product management, every product has a target market. Every product has that particular, set of people that need it, right? You're not going to make high heels for children aged 0 to 5 or something. You're making high heels for ladies, young ladies, old ladies, and stuff. Not particularly old ladies, anyways, because not a lot of old ladies wear high heels, but you shall, focus your product on a particular target market. And you as an individual, you also have a target market, the kind of roles that you can fit into, the kind of teams and industries that essentially need what you offer. And so to find your market fit, you have to ask yourself these 4 basic questions. Who are the people that need my skills? What problems can I solve? What makes me different? What makes me stand out? And where can I add the most value? You could put 2 accountants, side by side, but then both of them are not going to give you the same thing. You can put 2 engineers side by side, both of them are not going to give you the same thing. You can put 2 mechanics side by side, they're not going to fix your cars in the same way. And so it's the same thing that you have to think of as yourself every single time. You have to potentially think of, what makes you different, what makes you stand out, how can you provide a different service from person A, B, and C, and where can you add the most value, right? And so that is essentially what it is. What problems can you solve as a person? Who are the people that need your skills? And so that is what you do to find your market fit. And when you ask yourself those questions, you begin to start thinking, okay, now I can actually fit into this particular section, right? When you realize your market fit, you stop applying to random jobs. You stop applying to, now in terms of career, stop applying to random jobs. You stop applying for just anything that comes your way. Say I'm a finance person now, and then I see an engineering job. I will not apply for an engineering job, right? Because I know that's not where I fit in. But if you do not know all of these things and you don't even have, direction, you could apply for engineering, apply for science, apply for this, apply for medicine and stuff like that. But when you understand your market fit, the unique value that you can bring, you start applying to more aligned jobs. You start applying for a more aligned career path. So that is exactly what finding your market fit does for you. And so when you do find your market fit, right, every product has features. Every product has, certain features that they can bring in, certain features that make it stand out. A product has, different features. What can that product do? You also have features, your skills, right? So you have to think of yourself as a product in that light. What are your technical features? What are your soft features? What are your personal features? For instance, now, if I pull up a product like, let's say, Close Up, right? If you pull up Close Up and you ask any random person, what are the features of Close Up? They'll say, oh, it's red in color, it's hot, it has a white and red packaging, has the cover, stuff like that. That is how you identify Close Up. If I bring out, let's say, iPhone 15 Pro Max or something like that, what are the features of an iPhone 15? Oh, it has 3 cameras, it has the I think it's type C port, it has very sharp camera, very wide screen, stuff like that, something that you can easily be identified by. Those are your features. It's not the one that somebody will call you, oh, hello, hi, do you know this person? Yes, okay, how can you describe this person? And then they have no idea what to say about you, right? You do not want to be that person, especially if you're trying to, build a name for yourself, or if you're trying to, upscale in your career. You have to have certain features that actually stand out, that people can actually point to you when they think of you. And so in my case, for instance, in finance, right, what are my technical features? Microsoft Excel, I can do Microsoft Excel. Financial analysis, SQL, data skills, reporting, project management frameworks. What are my soft features? The ability to communicate, leadership skills, critical thinking, reliability. What's my personal features? Warmth, creativity, adaptability, the ability to learn fast. All of these things. You have to then realize, what is it that somebody can see about me that I can, use to provide value for them. Once you know your features, you know exactly what you bring to the table. It's not the type that they'll ask you what do you bring to the table and you start saying, oh, I'm the table, and not all of those answers. That's not what we want. So you need to know your features, you need to know your skills, you need to know that thing that makes you actually stand out, and that's how you treat yourself as a product. So you have to be intentional about those little parts of yourself. And so when you want to think about your features and your skills and all of those things, you have to, just like in product management, we always prioritize, products based on impact, right? Based on what they actually can contribute to the markets that we are sending them out to. And same way as an individual, you have to prioritize your skills based on an impact. So in product management, you have to have a roadmap, and the roadmap essentially outlines what the product will become in the future. How would this product be in so and so how many years to come? What exactly are you adding to this product that is going to still stand out in the market, right? So your roadmap essentially outlines what you want to become. So you have to build your roadmap, and then you ask yourself different salient questions. What is the next role that I want? If you're looking at it from a career perspective, this is your roadmap. What is the next role that you want? What skills do you need to get to the role that you want to get to? What do you need to learn in the next 3 to 6 months? And who do you need to connect with? And this last point is very, very important, because most of the times we could have all of the skills that is required for a particular role. Let's say you want to go into data analysis, you know how to use Tableau, you know how to use SQL, you know how to use Power BI, you know how to interpret data, you know how to visualize and all of those things. But you have not connected with the right people that can actually take you to where you want to go. That could really set you back in your career, right? In career, most of the times, I know that there's people that are very, shy, laid back and everything. But the one thing that I have come to learn, not just even in career, like in life in general, is that things work out majorly for the bold. You have to be bold. You have to sell your market at every single point in time. Whether you know how to do something, whether you don't know how to do something, you have to actually sell your market. You have to connect with the right people, network with the right people. Sometimes you might not even have the skills, but because you have networked with the right people, you'll be forced to actually learn the skills that will keep you in that position that you have been able to get through networking. And so networking is very important. Putting yourself out there is very, very important. And most of the times, I like to always use this guy, Speed Darlington, for instance. I always like to use him as an example. And in as much as, this is not even career related and stuff like that, but Speed Darlington actually inspires me so much in terms of his boldness. He's so bold. And, and I know that, everybody, we all have shame in one way or the other and everything. But Speed Darlington, even with, I don't want to say too much, but the kind of music that Speed Darlington produces now, with the way that he is so bold to always, speak of himself. He's so bold to always put himself out there, selling his market. So much so that even if you don't like his music, you're just drawn to the guy somehow, because why is this person so bold like this, right? And it's something that I've actually also come to learn in life, that most of the times life actually rewards the bold. You might have all of these skills, you might have so many things going on for you, but then if you're just silent, in one corner, it could work out perfectly fine. I mean, there's people that, they just want a quiet life, everything fine and good, perfect, that's fine. But if you're the type of person that that you really want to make an impact on, on a large scale, you want to be out there, you want to do this and this, you really want to make a change in society, you're not particularly going to do that. Or you really want to make a change in, in career and all of those things, you will not particularly achieve that if you're just laid back in one corner, gathering skills, and not doing anything about it. You have to actually put yourself out there, actually network with people, actually speak with people. If you don't have any people to speak with, we're in the age of social media. You can always put your skills out there. There's always going to be somebody that will listen to you. And that is something that I have learned. In fact, before this year, I would say that my, speaking skills or whatever was not even as great. But then this year, it's something that I said I was going to work on, public speaking, communicating, all of those things. And, over the time, I've tried to put myself out there for, things that would actually make me stand in front of people and speak, right? And so if you realize that, okay, this is something that you need to work on, you work on it. There's always somebody out there that will listen to you. So my point is, in your whole career roadmap, right, put yourself out there. Where do you want to go? Do you want to be somebody that people look onto? Do you want to be somebody that is actually creating a change on a large scale? Put yourself out there. What skills are missing? Get those skills. Network with the right people. What features of yourself need upgrading? Upgrade those features, and then little by little you start to position yourself in that particular role or in that particular place that you want to be. And so your roadmap should be realistic, right? I'm not saying just go out there and put yourself out there when you have really nothing to offer. You should be realistic, but you should also be very ambitious. You should also be very ambitious. Like there is no harm in trying to put yourself out there. If you put yourself out there and it doesn't work well, at least you tried. But 9 times out of 10, it always works out. So put yourself out there if you know that you want to be great. And this is one quote I want to share, that no product actually becomes great by accident. It takes the work. It takes putting yourself out there. iPhone did not become, how when there's a new release of an iPhone, I was watching when iPhone first came out, and then Steve Jobs actually did that whole convention thingy when he was essentially presenting the phone. That was like a very good marketing tool. Like he just spoke about his product. Imagine if he just created the phone and then he decided to maybe market the iPhone through normal mainstream and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it would have gained as much traction as it did when he actually, had that whole convention and actually spoke about it on a large scale. So that's essentially like, if you translate it to your personal life, speak about yourself, sell your market, blow your trumpet. And that level that you want to get to, you will definitely get there. And so after realizing all of this, you then set your KPIs, and that's your key performance indicators, which is essentially how product managers measure progress, and each of them to define metrics for growth and all of that. So every product has a KPI, metrics that define our success, right? Your career, your personal life, you also need key performance indicators. And examples of key performance indicators that you could use for your career growth, your personal growth, are, for instance, the number of certifications that you've completed this year, the number of high quality projects that you have delivered this year, how many soft skills have you been able to improve on? Have you been able to build a stronger LinkedIn presence? Have you been able to manage your time better so that you're actually learning things? Have you been able to think strategically? Like, what is it exactly that is your key performance indicator? Is it a career milestone? Is it a quality of work? Like, have you said, okay, this year like this, I want to go from a product manager to maybe a senior product manager, or I want to go from so what's it called? What are different stages in finance now? Say you were a finance associate and then you want to go to a finance manager or something like that. What are your key performance indicators? So in your career, in your personal life, you have to actually set that. And if you do not measure your growth, you will not know if you're moving. For products, if you don't measure the growth of a product, you will not know if that product is moving, right? There are some products that people put out there and they're not selling. You would see them literally sat on the shelves for months. Nobody's touching them. They are collecting dust, right? For the people that have made those products, if they do not look back and actually think, why is my product not moving and stuff like that, it will continue to stay there, right? But if they now measure, oh, this product is not moving because of this and this and this, or if they now get feedback mechanisms and all of that, they now begin to see why this product is not moving. And so it's the same way that you have to look at yourself. What is it that is actually making me stagnated? Is it that the market is too competitive, which is actually a thing? It could be so competitive that you've tried and it's not working. Then you have to look for a different strategy of actually entering the market, which could be networking. You never know. You could just meet one CEO one day and then he just wants you to come and work for him, and that's how you actually break in somehow. So you have to actually sit down, think of your KPIs, think about, oh, what is that thing that is actually holding me and stuff like that. Am I growing? Am I not growing? Am I growing in the way I'm supposed to? What do I need to do differently as a product? What do I need to do differently? And so for you to actually get into this in product management, every new version of a product is an upgrade. New features, a better performance, right? I keep going back to the iPhone because I feel like it's a more relatable product. Um, like I said, camera, 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 that's all they keep changing. Beyond the camera, that there are certain things that they change inside, but what we see are the cameras, right? Camera quality, camera quality, camera quality. But regardless of if they keep changing the camera quality every year or how many cameras or where they are moving the camera to, regardless of if that's the only change that they are making, it's an upgrade from 17 to 18 to it's an upgrade regardless. So for you as a product, your upgrade might be a new skill, a new certification, a new habit, a better CV, setting better boundaries. Say, oh, this particular friend group I'm having right now, they are not it at all. Let's move a circle higher or something. It could be anything. So you would first have to identify what is the KPI. What is it that, oh, wow, I'm doing so good in this, but I'm not doing so good in this. So how do I upgrade this? That's essentially what it is, as simple as it is. Could it be improving your confidence? Could it be improving your communication skills? There's so much that you could actually use to, grade yourself and actually see what you need to work on. So your version 2.0 might be, I want to be more consistent. I want to be more strategic. I want to be more confident. Or I want to go to the gym more. Oh, and my physical health is lacking. Or I'm not eating well. I need to eat more food. Or, mentally, I'm not stable or something. I need to be in a better environment. Something like that. There's always something that you need to upgrade on. We are all human beings at the end of the day. So be it in terms of career, what is it that you need to upgrade on to make sure that you're getting to that level that you want to get to? As a human being, what is it that you need to upgrade on to be a better product? What is it that you need to change for people to actually come to you and say, it's true, I'm going to stay with that person. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. This is the prestige I'm essentially building for myself, right? So product managers fix bugs through iteration, and iteration essentially involves improving something step by step over time, having that continuous improvement. So every product has a bug, every product has something that needs fixing, and we also have our versions of bugs. I don't think Dangote got to where he got to by using one bag of Dangote cement the same way that he first created it. I'm sure there was something that needed to be changed. I don't think Otedola used the same brand of oil from the beginning till now. I'm sure there was something that needed to be changed, just different things. And that's the good thing about, this product management life cycle, essentially, is more like, you're seeing the products essentially from when it started to when it's growing. Okay, at this point, something is wrong here. It's not meeting the right needs. Let's take it back. Let's change it. Let's see how we can address this particular need. Same way that we have to do when we are, building a career or something like that. You have something that you need to fix in yourself for you to become that excellent product that you're trying to be. So it could be something like maybe procrastination, maybe, or you don't really have clarity, maybe imposter syndrome. You might think that, I'm not supposed to be here, but my dear, you're supposed to be here. You might be an overthinker, maybe your CV is too weak, or your LinkedIn is not linking enough, or, you're not so consistent, or you could be having self-doubt. What is that bug in you that you need to fix to be a very good product? You need to actually identify that, right? And so you can, get all of this from feedback. Say you're somebody that provides a service, something like, what's it called? Okay, I would use myself, for example. I personally, I make hair. I braid hair for people, right? And I was not always a professional hair braider and all of that. And it's not like I learned from somewhere. I learned because a friend wanted to make her hair one time, and she's like, "Oh, Ini, come and help me make my hair." And I'm like, "Oh, I don't really know how to make hair with attachment." And they're like, "Oh, just try, just use my head and practice, and everything." Was it perfect the first time? No. I saw it as perfect because I was like, "Oh, wow, so I can do this and everything." But like the more I went on with braiding hair, And because every hair that I braided, even from the very first one, I did take a picture. So the more I went on with braiding hair, I would look at, the hair I braided now and the hair I braided before. And I'll be like, this thing that I braided before, Jesus, what was this? Stuff like that. I know that that was a bug. And then I'll be like, okay, so going forward, in the next hair that I'm going to make, I'm going to, cut it better or do something this thing, or, try and use this particular product to hold it more and everything. So that was my bug in my hair braiding service, right? At every single point in time in your life, your personal life, your career, you have to identify that particular thing that you feel like, this could be an issue somehow. Let me actually work on this, we're human beings, even with products, it's not always going to be perfect. There's always something that needs to be fixed, that needs to be tweaked just a little bit, right? And so, all of this from feedback, from observation, from trying new ideas, from learning from what didn't work, almost like building a business. It is essentially building a business, right? When you build a business, you will not get it perfect the first time. So from feedback, from observation, from, what people are saying, what are people saying about this business? The goal is not to be perfect, but the goal is to identify your bugs, fix them one by one, right? So that's how we need to be as individuals, human beings. If you're trying to grow your career, find that thing that that is kind of holding you back somehow and fix it. And so this was supposed to be an activity, but I'm still gonna say regardless. So if anybody comes across this and watches and everything, so if you do the short activity, right, of get a pen, get paper or your notes or something, if you write down 3 of your very strong features, 3 of your very strong skills that you currently have, right, in career, in your personal growth, in your business, 3 strong skills that you currently have, be it communication skills, be it collaboration, whatever it is, but a very strong skill that you have, 3 of them. Identify your target markets in the role or industry that you want. If you're not already in that role or industry, identify your target market in the role or industry that you want, and then identify one upgrade that you want to implement in your version 2.0. What is that upgrade? What's that thing that you feel like, oh, I have skills A, B, and C, and in this market, this is the market, and I need skills this in this particular market. So I'm going to upgrade on skill this. You understand? So doing all of these exercises consistently actually helps you to, see yourself in a better light of how you can essentially fit into, that particular market that you're looking for. At the end of the day, this whole thing, this whole point of seeing yourself as a product, the whole end game is to be a better, improved version of yourself, and also to build that prestige around yourself, right? If you use Dangote, for instance, Dangote, you're not going to, ask for Dangote cement, and then somebody's like, Dangote cement is not good. I don't think you would hear something like that. Why? Because there's a prestige built around Dangote cement, and this is something that has come from years and years of working on the product, working on the products, and everything like that. And so we have to see ourselves in that light. You have to, work on yourself so much so that there's a whole prestige around you, that even if there's a little, bad review given about you, just one bad review somehow is not enough to break your brand, because you have built a whole prestige around what you can offer, around your brand, around your reputation, and all of those things, right? So yeah, that's how we need to see ourselves. Just like products, see Close Up, for instance. Close Up has been in the market for years. I know that there's people that say, oh, Close Up does not whiten your teeth enough, or Close Up is, I don't know if I should be mentioning this brand name here, for those to me. But sure, I know people that say it doesn't whiten your teeth enough, or it's too hot, or it's just red, does not do anything. But Close Up is still here, and people still buy Close Up. I thought they have there's a whole reputation, there's a whole prestige. It's still in the market. You cannot remove it from the market. I know that there's toothpaste brands that maybe they have come and they have gone, they're not as relevant and stuff. But when you actually have, a prestige around your name or around your brand, around your products, apart from the outside products, around yourself, right? You're still going to be relevant in the market, which is essentially what we all strive for. Relevance. And so, final thoughts, just to close up, that if there is one thing that I want everyone to leave with today, right, is that you are the most important products that you will ever manage. Apart from all of the products you're chasing, all the 9 to 5s, everything that you're chasing, you are the most important product that you will ever manage, and you are worth the investment. And so you have to be intentional. You have to upgrade yourself. You have to test. You have to learn. You have to iterate, and you should never stop becoming a better version of you. Thank you. Any questions? That's all my presentation. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for listening to my TED Talk. So if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer. So I'm going to stop sharing now. So if there's any questions.